a good time to raise the matter of the book you see here called the Thesaurus of Scales and Melodic Patterns. It was compiled by a man named Nicholas Slonimsky, who lived until the age of 102, died in December 95, liked to refer to himself as the oldest Wunderkind. He had many achievements to his name, and one of the oddest was that he developed a whole system which mightily affected John Coltrane and people who listened to John Coltrane. And I'll show you what's inside this book. I'll give you just an example. Now, here are hundreds and hundreds of musical examples of permutations and repermutations and all kinds of inside-out permutations of the 12 tones of the musical scale. Let me show you one in particular. Over here, number 625 is one that I found useful, and it's just one of many that people use. And for example, can you hear John Coltrane doing? And there are various other, I mean, no point in trying to be anywhere near complete about this, but the point is that Coltrane started a new sort of musical thinking. This is not that it was so new that it hadn't been done by George Gershwin in the opening of Porgy and Bess, strangely enough, in the famous xylophone part, but Coltrane saw it as a way of tremendously increasing his vocabulary. And let me now move over to the piano person who took this vocabulary and developed it in his own extremely idiomatic manner into a vocabulary that he would use and that other pianists would begin to use also. McCoy Tyner, who began to play this way in the 1960s, is the gentleman. And from him, Chick Corea and a younger generation have established something which musicians refer to generally as Pentatonix. Well, what this is, it's modal music, first of all. It doesn't go tonic to dominant. It doesn't do that. It wanders around in one mode or another for a long time. It's sort of altered state music, spiritual dimension. I once heard it called, this sort of music, and the ethnic music from with which it is greatly related, it's called trance music. Anyhow, the point is, this music has an effect which increases the longer you do it. It gets into different dimensions of mental states. Characteristically, one way of doing this is the left hand plays the tonality, the basic modality, let's say, and chords in fourths on top of that, which wander around both inside that mode and outside it sometimes. The right hand comes right out of the Slonimsky book, John Coltrane, and it might go something like this. Sometimes it goes into what are called washes, like I've heard Chick Corea do these things occasionally, but of course he goes in many other directions. And the young players I have heard use this, like Jeff Keezer and Hal Galper and Bill Charlap and Ted Rosenthal, have the capacity to play in pentatonics as needed. That is to say, it's not the only thing they do, nor it is the only thing for which McCoy Tyner is known. He's also a very complete pianist, plays blues and standards. And this, like all other innovations, has become part of the general vocabulary of a working jazz pianist. A wash, which I mentioned before, is a pentatonic pattern that might be like this: B flat, E flat, F, A flat, in the modality of F, or say F minor. It might move up to B, E, F sharp, A. This music, as I said, gets its effect from its duration and its intensity, and it increases the more it goes on. I'll just do a little bit of it because I can't say I'm an expert at pentatonic music, but something like this.